People say things about intentions, and intentions are very important. Make sure you consider your intentions before you do anything. I can remember once, and I tell my stories over and over again because maybe they may hit different, and maybe you may catch something or whatever. But so I'm a young mother. I have two children. Y'all already know my story, right? So I got these two children. I'm young. I got a good job. As a matter of fact, I started off as a temporary employee. And I did so well, they hired me on full time. That's how good I am when I really apply myself. So I got this great job, making good money, right? Hadn't been there, still in my probationary period. I did not know that my neighbor was on drugs really bad. I did not know that, right? I knew she was on drugs. I just didn't know she was on this type of drug, and I did not know it was so severe. One morning, her son knocks on the door, like, Ma been gone, right? They ain't seen her, they hungry, they whatever. Me. Of course, I called my job, let them know I can't come in, blah, 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 blah. No problem, blah, 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 right? I'm not sure how long I was off, maybe a day or two. It doesn't matter, right? I should have been at work. Yes, that's beautiful that I'm so concerned about my neighbor's child who the mama's on drugs and hadn't been home. And now the children have been home alone trying to figure out how to call their granny, or, I know her brother, how to figure out how to find her for, just, that's me, right? So I go to work, my boss calls me in, asks me again what happened. I explain it to her, She don't say nothing. I go to work. I work all day. The end of the day comes. She calls me back into her office. I explain again, and she looks at me and she says, that's beautiful, And she was sorry about my neighbor and her issue, and that, and she asked me if I felt good about the choice that I made to take time off work, to care for, my neighbor's children. And I was like, yeah, I do feel good about that. And she said, well, you know what, that's all that matters, is that you feel good about the choice that you made, because that's the one you're going to live it with, really. Because that's the one you're going to live with, right? And she didn't say it that way, but what she said was, that's beautiful, right? But I'm going to need you to go clean out your desk. Because although you found great joy and you feel good about your choice to stay home and care for your neighbor's children, that's beautiful. But we needed you here. So we thank you for your service, right? And you have yourself an awesome day. And by the way, have a great life, right? Valuable lesson. My neighbor's children, not my responsibility, right? As horrible as it sounds. Would I have done the same thing over again? Probably, right? But I cannot get upset because my boss decided that although that was good for you, it wasn't good for us. And we're making the decision, right, to let you go. Now, can you deal with that, right? Because we dealt with the fact that you didn't show up for those days while you're being a good Samaritan. And that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. But can you clean your desk out, okay? Have a nice life, okay? And lesson is, just because it's important to you doesn't mean it's important to someone else. And always think about your house first. Your house first. Her children, unfortunately, are going to have to live with the fact that their mother is on drugs and that is their situation. And all you can do is try to figure out how to get them to their next kinfolk. But that's not your responsibility. You had 2 small children. That was your responsibility. They were your responsibility. Right? You probably, it's just heartless. You should have sent her son back home and said, you know what? I'll see what I can do for you when I get off work. Right? Here, give him some food. I need to go to work because I got 2 children. So sometimes we can get caught up in other people's stuff. You better ask yourself, is it going to impact my life in any type of way? Is it going to bring anything I don't want? Is it going to cause some things that I don't want? I better think about that. And you better also consider, if there ever comes a day and it's you and somebody else, that somebody else is going to choose themselves. They're going to choose themselves, right? Because that's what people would do. That's normal behavior. So I'm telling you, make sure you always choose yourself. People may get upset about that. But again, if there ever come a day and there was a decision to be made between you and them, they are going to always choose themselves because they should. Because they should. And my job had every right to do the same. Because I decided that I was going to call in and not show up to work. Neglect my responsibilities for somebody else. She knew her children were home alone. She knew she had a drug problem. She knew, right? And unfortunately, that's where trauma begins in children. Crazy.